Okay, so why do art as a form of self-care? This is my cat. If I do art on a weeknight, the next day at work, I tend to be more present, I'm more relaxed, more satisfied, and that has me, being more present has me be more effective at work because I'm listening to what's happening in a meeting, able to take action, I might be able to see solutions faster, and my creativity is tapped in, so I'll be more resourceful when I find out I have some more constraints than I expected. I'm just more easily able to deal with that as opposed to getting frustrated or stopped or stuck. So I want to emphasize that you could create this as something you do, like a date with yourself once a week. What I'll do is I'll make some tea, I'll set myself up at the dining room table. My husband may even be on the couch reading, but we have this nice quiet time where we're each working on different activities, and it's something where you could light some Palo Santo, you could light a candle, create some ambiance, and that'll help stimulate more of your senses so it feels like you're integrating everything at once. So what I'll do is I'll have the taste of the tea, I might have a little bit of fruit for dessert, that stimulates my taste buds, and then I have the scent of the Palo Santo or the candles, and that's stimulating my sense of smell. And then I'll play music, even if he's reading or wants to listen to different music, I might put headphones on and listen to my music. You could listen to your favorite music, whatever you like that keeps you kind of calm or maybe taps you into the emotion you want to feel while you're painting. And it is a very emotional experience to paint, particularly if you're just painting freehand. If you're just kind of going for it with more of an abstract painting, you may find that it feels more like you're allowing the art to come through, and as opposed to trying to achieve a particular result, which of course if you draw something from real life or you paint something from a picture, you have a specific objective usually to recreate that image. Sometimes I get a visitor. This is my cat. Good thing I haven't started painting. So she of course loves anything that's very calming and soothing. She's like a magnet to when I'm very calm and relaxed. So she loves to sit by me when I'm just chilling. This would not work because her tail will swish. Okay, so the other senses are touch. You get to touch the paper, you get to touch your brushes. It's a very tactile experience to draw or paint. You touch your pencil. All of those things are very tactile, and you're using your hands for that. I mean, if you have a cat, you may be petting your cat occasionally, but you really need to go. Can you go? Okay, thank you. All right, so and then the other one is sight. So it's pretty amazing to experience having an idea and then having it come to life on the paper. Of course, I want less screen time, but to get a drawing started, I may go into Pinterest and find an animal I want to draw, and then of course my rendering looks a lot different than the picture, but I'll be inspired by other people's photography to get my art started. Or I'll have taken my own picture. Usually I take pictures of flowers, and then I'll use that as my inspiration to draw the flowers. Or I might have a plant right in front of me that I'm drawing or painting, to just have lots of plants in my house. But you don't have to be realistic, and you don't have to be good. You don't have to be judging yourself as good or bad. I think everyone can make really beautiful art if they're free about it, if they're really just loose and letting it go. But if you want to paint something or draw something realistic, you may take the step to draw in advance, and then you can close your computer screen and then try to capture what you remember. But you could also, if you want to keep the screen up, capture fur, capture feathers, capture details that you see on it'll help you kind of orient yourself. But I don't want anyone to feel limited, especially if you want this to be a break from screen time. You could keep that picture just in your mind and close the computer screen. Or you can always print it out. You know, I don't want to waste paper, but if you really want to get a break from screen time, you could print out a picture as your inspiration. You know, you can always grab objects. If you just want to like practice studying art, you can just grab a lemon from your, you know, fruit basket, or, you know, you can, you know, grab an apple or whatever you have at home, a banana, you know, just, we have objects in our homes that are actually really beautiful and simple, and satisfying to capture. So you can always do that. So why do art as a form of self-care? So I really believe that we all are creative. I think people say I'm not creative, but I think we are all inherently creative. And that's from books I've read, like Conversations with God, The War of Art, and some recent books I've read about, you know, being able to tap into your right brain. And one of them is called Drawing on the Right Brain, and one is called Drawing on the Artist Within. They were written in the 70s. So, but I do think that those principles still hold true, that we all are creative, and if we're not creating something beautiful or artistic, we're creating something else. And sometimes what we're creating is drama. Sometimes what we're creating is angst. I think it gets bottled up in us, and then we actually, it comes out in other weird ways, is what I'm saying. So if we're avoiding that part of ourself, like our true self, our true nature, we will maybe find ourselves binge drinking, or, you know, getting addicted to something, or we're consuming a lot of someone else's creativity and art, and as opposed to creating our own. I know that sometimes when I go to a museum, I love it, it's very inspiring, but I also have this sense of like, you know, I wish I had like taken it further, right? Like I'll be like inspired to do my own art, and I'll be itching to go home and do my own art. I think that when you start letting this out, like letting creativity out of you, because I really do think we bottle it in, our energy flows better. If we're giving all of our creativity to our job, that could be great, and I'm sure our employers benefit from that, but then there's like a dissatisfaction and resentment that might build. And so I think if you can allow yourself to be creative in your free time in a way that's satisfying to you, and it doesn't have to have an objective. Like, you don't need to be selling your art. You don't need to turn your hobby into something bigger. I've heard this quote before, like when people play basketball as a hobby, like, you know, pick up basketball, no one asks them like, when are you going to go into the NBA, you know, like but with artists, I think people are like, when are you going to sell it? Or like, people are dismissive of like, oh, you shouldn't do that unless it's going to produce some other result. But it does produce a lot of unexpected results. So I would say that at work, I'm a pretty creative person, but I'm also really adaptable to like what's happening. So, you know, if I'm on a team, it has me contribute a lot, but it also has me listen and respond to what other people's needs are. So I think, you know, that's important as well. But yeah, I think it's important to be able to be resourceful in life, because just getting a no or not having what you need can turn into an opportunity to be really creative. And same goes here. Like right now, I don't have necessarily like all of the supplies I could use to create something that's a masterpiece, right? Like a lot of times people think of art as needing to be big, but you know, I have these constraints. I have a couple tubes of paint, I have my brushes, I have a marker. You know, I don't have a lot of objects in front of me, but I have like, you know, a votive holder, and I have these interesting spheres, and I have fruit over there on the table behind the camera. So I have things I could draw if I didn't even have a phone or didn't even have a desktop or a laptop. You know, I would have things I could draw or paint. And so I started drawing this seal. Now I feel like his eyes are a little too tilted or something. Anyway, it's very easy to start judging yourself as you draw or you paint. And the whole point of this is to get a little bit of space from that. I mean, all day long, I think we do that. We're judging other people, and then we judge ourselves for judging other people, and it can kind of compound. And this gives us a chance to take a break from all of that and just see, you know, just as opposed to judge, just see. And it's important to be true to yourself, and I think that doing some kind of art is a way to be back in touch with that childlike self, which may be a little truer to your higher self. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you watching this video. If you could please like this video, that would be wonderful. And if you could subscribe to my channel, I'll be producing more videos like this on a regular basis. Thank you so much. Bye.